Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Sean's Horror Corner. I'm Sean. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate everybody tuning in. To those of you who have subscribed recently as well as this whole time, thank you for your support. It means so much to me. So thank you for uh, watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, helping me grow the channel, following on social media, all those things. I really do appreciate everyone's support. Thank you all. Today, we're going to be talking about M3GAN from 2022. Uh, I saw this movie when it first came out. I was very excited about it. I really liked it. Um, Probably more than most. I mean, I absolutely loved this movie when I saw it when it first released in theaters. I went back and watched it again later after it came out streaming, that kind of thing. And I think I purchased like a Blu-ray or something. Still enjoyed it a lot. And then I watched a little bit of it maybe a year ago, and I still like it, but I felt like not as much as I originally had. So watched it again yesterday to get ready for this recording, and yeah, we'll see where my thoughts are on it now. But as I said, M3GAN 2022 was when it was released. We'll get into that all here in a few moments. But quickly, tagline for the film: "She's more than a toy. She's family." Brief synopsis: a brilliant toy company roboticist uses artificial intelligence to develop M3GAN, a lifelike doll programmed to emotionally bond with her newly orphaned niece. But when the doll's programming works too well, she becomes overprotective of her new friend, with terrifying results. Film was released in theaters January 6th of 2023, directed by Gerald Johnstone, screenplay by Akela Cooper, story by Akela Cooper and James Wan, runtime of 102 minutes, a budget of $12 million, box office 181.8 million, so very successful at the box office. Just a few members of the cast: Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Ronnie Chang, Amy McDonald, Jenna Davis, and Brian Jordan Alvarez. We'll stop there, and let's start by talking about cast and characters. So I feel like the cast all does a pretty good job here. I'm very impressed with the performance of Amy Donald, who played M3GAN part of the time when they weren't using AI. But yeah, really liked Amy Donald. I thought she did a great job. Jenna Davis is great as the voice of M3GAN. I think that's kind of become like an iconic voice now, even though it's only been 4 years. I feel like this movie's been out longer than that, but it is what it is. Violet McGraw is good. Allison Williams is good. I think the cast is solid. I don't think there's anybody here, with the exception of maybe Amy Donald, that I would just say was absolutely amazing. But I think everybody does a good job. The characters, this is a little different. And here's why I say that. Because, again, the first time I saw this movie, when I went and saw it in theaters when it first came out, I absolutely loved this film. I'm a huge fan of Chucky. And so I think I'd been waiting for, another killer doll to compete with Chucky to be really good. And I know there's Annabelle, but that's kind of different. Annabelle herself is not killing people. So, yeah, I was excited about this, and I really enjoyed seeing it the first time. I was like, oh, finally, we've got something similar to Chucky. I will say now, M3GAN's no Chucky, nowhere near Chucky. But I appreciated it, because a lot of times, killer doll movies are not that great. There's a few exceptions, but not always. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Excuse me, I'm recording after getting off work, and it was a long day. But what I was saying is the characters. I liked Gemma, played by Allison Williams. I liked Katie, for the most part, played by Violet McGraw. I love the M3GAN character. This is one of those where I find myself rooting for the villain, and we'll kind of get to why. Everybody else, I don't think there's really a ton of likable. Gemma's assistants are fine, but nobody that just comes across as being outstanding. Upon rewatching this film, I don't like Gemma's character as much as I thought I did. She's not great, to be completely honest with you, in this movie. Now, we finally get kind of a growth from her later in the film, where she gets better, but she's really not the best, especially in this situation early on. So that kind of hurts it a little bit. And while Katie, with everything she's gone through, and we'll talk about it when we get into the plot, you feel for her, and you understand why she would act out the way she does, especially with what she's getting. At the same time, she gets a little annoying at times, if I can just be honest. So this is one of those films where I feel like it's very easy to cheer for the villain, and that's 100% what I find myself doing in this movie is cheering for the villain, cheering for M3GAN, and wanting to see M3GAN, you know, take some people out. Um, yeah, there's my thoughts there. As far as cinematography, I think the movie looks good. The effects are pretty good in this movie. Actually, the effects are probably really good in this movie when I think about it. We don't get a lot of great kills, honestly. Um, they're okay. A couple of them are off screen, and there's really not even that many people that die in this movie. I'll mention something in the production notes that may explain that. So that may not be on the movie itself, but still could have been better. But it has a PG-13 rating, and what do you expect? I prefer my horror to have an R rating, but that's just me. But again, the film looks good. There's nothing wrong with the cinematography of the movie. I think everything looks good. Score is fine. That whole M3GAN dance was so iconic on TikTok for a while. I mean, you just were constantly seeing it, and the music that plays during that is pretty catchy. Other than that, it's fine. I don't. There's a couple of scenes in this movie that I don't like now that I guess I just kind of overlooked in the beginning, and that's where M3GAN's singing to Katie, and I realize what we're trying to establish here, but those parts aren't the best in my opinion. Not that the singing is bad; the singing is fine. I just don't like that part of the movie. I guess I'm really not sure how else to explain it, but and the story, I do like the story, and I really wish we could have got a more violent version. Like I said, we'll talk about that here in just a moment in the production notes, but that's kind of where I am with that stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into those production notes. Prediction, what the hell? Um, so as I mentioned at the top, M3GAN released in 2022. The film premiered December 7th of 2022 in Los Angeles, and then got its theatrical release throughout the United States on January 6th. The original cut was deemed too violent, so multiple reshoots were done to secure a PG-13 rating. I don't know if that original cut is out there. I know that I've seen that there is a unrated version of M3GAN. I believe I've watched it, and I don't see where that much was different. A little here and there, but not much. So I don't know if there's more other than that unrated version. If there is, I would like to see it because that's one of the issues I have with this movie is there's not enough. There's not enough kills. There's not enough. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's some violence, but I just think it could have been so much better. They could have made this movie an R-rated movie, up the slasher side of it, and made it better, in my opinion. An animatronic puppet was used. I said AI earlier. That's not the right terminology. An animatronic puppet was used for dialogue and close-ups of M3GAN, while Amy Macdonald performed the scenes where a puppet could not do the things that they needed to do. Amy Macdonald also did her own stunts in the film. It's really all I've got for production notes. So let's go ahead and get into the plot now. Start to walk through this thing. I'm sure by now you've seen this movie. If you haven't and you want to watch it, pause this. Don't turn it off. Pause it. Go watch the movie. Then come back and we'll you can hear me talk about it. If you don't care, then just go ahead and watch it. Listen, that's fine too. We open the film up with 8-year-old Katie, who's traveling with her parents. They're headed somewhere. There's a lot of snow around, a pretty bad snowstorm, and there ends up being a crash, and both the parents are killed. Opening to the film. I think it's fine. We actually open up with a little bit of a comedy bit where Katie is watching this commercial for these toys that shit and do all kinds of things, I guess. It's kind of funny. I think I laughed in theaters the first time I saw it. The more I see this movie, because I've watched this movie probably 3 or 4 times now, it's not quite as funny, and I'm just ready to get past it. I mean, it's there. It is what it is. But then with the accident, and again, you immediately feel for Katie. I don't think this opening is extraordinary, but it does what it needs to do. It sets up our story and gets us where we need to be so that we can, have this in general. We are then introduced to Gemma, who is Katie's aunt. Gemma is the roboticist for a high-tech toy company, and she's creating this child-sized robot, a Model 3 generative android called M3GAN. But her boss, David, they try to show him one little display. It doesn't work very well. They left something out, and so it messed up, and David just wants the project stopped. We also meet Jenna's assistants, Cole and Tess. We find then Jenna being informed of the accident, so she's given temporary custody of Katie, and they struggle to connect for a little while. We meet Lydia, who is, I guess, a social worker that visits to try to deem if Gemma is, the right fit for Katie to be because there's some other family that's interested in taking her as well. Um, Katie ends up meeting this, or finding basically this Bruce, which is a motion capture robot that Gemma had created while she was in college. And seeing how much Katie loves Bruce inspires Gemma to go ahead and finish M3GAN. Let's stop there, kind of talk about all of this. Really, all of this is just set up. But here's where I feel my opinion of Gemma begins to turn, because she is obviously not made for this. She's not. This is not in her wheelhouse, and she does not do two things that I question. I think we finally do get one scene where Jim is kind of looking at some of the news clippings from what happened, and you see a little bit of sadness. But I believe, this is her sister that's just died in this accident. We see no emotion or no struggle from that. She agrees to take in Katie, which I'm not sure why, because Gemma doesn't want kids. She doesn't have kids. She's very busy. Why she would even agree to this doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when there is other family that does want Katie. So a lot of things about Gemma don't add up here early on for me. Um, she's okay, but she's nowhere near as likable as what I originally thought the first time I saw the film. The other people that we meet, I mean, we get, again, her assistants are fine. Her boss seems to be a little bit of a jerk, but at the same time, if this project's not working, then you understand why he doesn't want to continue to invest the money into it. Lydia, the social worker, she seems kind of like a bitch, but at the same time, she's doing her job and trying to find the right fit for Katie. Just a lot of very mediocre characters, in my opinion, as we're getting all of this set up and still trying to set everything. Um, just some awkward moments again between Gemma and Katie, and once they find Bruce, that seems to finally be something they connect on. I mean, it's fine, nothing special here, but it's fine. From there, as Gemma finishes working, Gemma, I think I just said Jennifer. I don't edit for this kind of reason, so y'all can see how much fucking trouble I have sometimes. But we get a demonstration for the boss now that they've finished M3GAN, where we see M3GAN and Katie introduced and paired, is what they keep calling it. This demonstration for David, her boss, goes so much better. It's a success. M3GAN seems to be exceeding all the expectations. And so now this company is very excited and wants to move forward. But Cole and Tess are a little bit concerned. When Jim is talking about all the things that M3GAN can do, and they're promoting it, and they're making these commercials. Cole and Tess, the assistants, seem to be concerned that M3GAN is not just a toy. Like, she's taking the parent's role, where the parent doesn't have to spend any time with their child. And at one point, even in one of the, I don't know if it's like a commercial they're making or just Gemma trying to sell the thing, she makes a statement that M3GAN can take care of all these things, so you can do the more important things. Horrible line. And again, it just shows us where M3GAN is, where Gemma is in this whole process. Later on, we see where Katie is playing with this like bow arrow set she has. She loses one of the arrows. M3GAN is able to find it, but in finding it, she gets attacked by the neighbor's dog. Katie tries to intervene. She also gets bitten. And then that night, and we've seen already one scene prior to with this neighbor who's annoying as hell, and her annoying dog. That night, M3GAN tricks the dog and ends up killing the dog off screen. I'm typically not the kind of person that I hate seeing dogs get killed, even in horror movies. I'm a dog person, so I typically hate this. I think the fact that this was off screen helps a little bit. We don't actually see, M3GAN kill the dog. At the same time, we're setting up something here. We're showing what M3GAN is capable of, and this dog has been kind of annoying. So I kind of overlook it in this movie. It doesn't bother me quite as much as it ordinarily would. But again, I think a lot of it's because it's off screen, which helps somewhat. We then get another demonstration being set up. But in this demonstration, Katie is very sad. She's really struggling, and she's missing her parents. But we see M3GAN being able to comfort her. And then here's where we get M3GAN singing to Katie, which also seems to help. And this really causes the project to take off and get a green light to keep moving. Just again, kind of, I was fine with the scene other than the singing. I'm just like, this is not a musical. It's a horror / comedy. This just doesn't fit, but that's fine. I mean, okay, whatever. We also find out that Kurt, who is David's assistant, is stealing information from the company. Katie gets upset at one point talking to Lydia, the social worker, again, and which seems to anger M3GAN, and M3GAN makes a comment to Lydia that you've upset her. So we're seeing M3GAN get very protective of Katie more and more as time goes on, and becoming very upset. We know what she's done to the dog. Now we wonder what she might do to Lydia. Lydia is also getting concerned and confronts Gemma about attachment issues and how this might not be a good thing, this doll, for Katie. We see M3GAN a little bit later on starting to argue with Gemma now about Katie and what things need to be done. Uh, this school trip comes up, kind of like a outside school camp type thing, and we meet this boy who starts bullying Katie. He ends up stealing M3GAN and taking off, and then we get a fun scene where M3GAN ends up coming back. And here's kind of one of there's two parts so far. I skipped over one earlier. Um, there is a scene a little bit earlier where Katie's sleeping, and we just see M3GAN watching her sleep. And I'll be honest, this is a little bit creepy. I never really paid that much attention to it until watching it yesterday. But that is a little creepy, the way M3GAN is watching her sleep. And then here, this is one of the scenes where we do get some violence, and we do get to see more of this side of M3GAN. Because after this kid has bullied Katie and then tries to take off with M3GAN, then she ends up coming to. She rips like part of his ear off, and then I love the part there. There's a scene where he's like standing there like in pain because half his ear's been ripped off, and he's also kind of in shock. And M3GAN says, "This is the part where you run." I liked that scene. I liked that a lot actually. The boy starts running. I don't think M3GAN pushes him. She may push him. I remember he ends up falling somehow and rolling down this hill out into traffic, and then he is run over and killed. And so now M3GAN is responsible for the dog being killed, and now this other boy being killed. The neighbor, she begins to harass Gemma and Katie about this dog disappearing. We get another scene where M3GAN sings to Katie again, and I'm like, yeah, this is just too much. But then M3GAN attacks the neighbor. She shoots her with a nail gun. She sprays her with this poison that's used to kill insects and ends up killing her. The police end up showing up the next day questioning Gemma, and Gemma is now beginning to get concerned about M3GAN as well. Now because we have, a missing dog, which we know is dead, and two dead people. And so, Gemma's getting concerned here as well. Like I said, I was a little more bored, I'll be honest, with this movie watching it this time than I've been in times past watching this. I feel like there's a lot of setup, and again, I appreciate storytelling. Um, I just felt like this movie drug a little bit for a little while until things really start to happen with M3GAN. I feel like a lot of time goes by before we really get to see M3GAN doing what she can do. And now, at the same time, when I say seeing M3GAN do what we can do, we've gotten a pretty good introduction to the doll and what the good things about the doll are, what it was created for. And it's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I almost wish I had one of these things, not, to be a friend, but just to help with shit around the house or something. Like, I would like to have a M3GAN. Um, but then once the other things start, I do think the film picks up and starts to get better. But the first half of the movie is a little slow, and I've never really recognized that before. Um, but now, as we're getting into other things where, M3GAN's responsible for this boy that was a bully being killed, and now she's attacked a neighbor. Now things are starting to pick up. I'm enjoying this a little bit more. As we start to see Gemma get concerned about things, we start to see the character turn that she has towards the end of the film. I think the movie starts getting better here. And again, I really like the scene where she gets back at the bully. Um, Gemma goes to try and check some of M3GAN's settings and look at her security tapes so she can see if M3GAN is responsible for any of these things. But all of the files are corrupted, and so now Gemma knows that there is a problem, and then she's confronted by M3GAN about this. And when she gives M3GAN an order to shut down, M3GAN again argues with her. So we see that M3GAN is now no longer obeying Gemma's commands as well, which also makes it, I think, it ups the ante somewhat, because initially she's having to obey both Katie and Gemma, and now she's ignoring Gemma, so we know something's going on. It ups the ante, and again, like I said, I'm enjoying the film much more now at this point. Gemma ends up taking M3GAN to the lab. They're going to run some tests on her. Katie gets very upset about this and throws a huge fit. Gemma is trying to convince Katie that maybe M3GAN is no longer good for her. She talks with her assistants, and they decide it's time to terminate M3GAN the same day that there's supposed to be this big reveal of M3GAN for this to start selling and that kind of thing. But just as they're getting ready to terminate her, M3GAN ends up activating herself. She attacks Cole. Tess is able to save him, but M3GAN causes an explosion, which ends up knocking both of them out. And then we get the famous M3GAN dance scene before she attacks and kills David. She also kills Kurt. This takes place off screen, steals a car, and heads to Gemma's because Gemma has taken Katie and gone home. Love this scene. I still love this scene. For some reason, I remembered this M3GAN dance being much longer than it actually is. It's only a couple of seconds, but it's a fun scene. I wish we could have gotten, again, more better images of the kill of both David and just drew like a on his name, but the assistant that's stealing things. But Kurt, there we go. But I mean, it's fine. It's a good scene. I like this scene. I just wish we could have got a little bit more. We then kind of enter our finale. M3GAN confronts Gemma at home. She wants to be now Katie's sole caretaker. We kind of get a battle going on, a fight between Gemma and M3GAN for a little bit. Gemma is able to disfigure M3GAN, but M3GAN still gets the upper hand on her before Katie intervenes and uses Bruce to rip M3GAN in half. But the top half is still active. Ends up attacking Katie. Gemma is able to save Katie this time. And then as M3GAN attacks Gemma, Katie uses a screwdriver to stab into a chip that's showing in M3GAN's head, which seems to deactivate her and put a stop to M3GAN. The police begin to arrive, but then we get one more shot as we see a camera that's hooked up to Jenna's home system come on by itself and turn towards them and just start watching everything. And that's M3GAN. I don't mind this finale. It's okay. Not anything incredibly special. It's not bad. I think once they disfigured M3GAN, and she's still attacking and some other things are going on, it takes the enjoyment of the M3GAN character out of it a little bit. I mean, it's still okay, but it was much better when, she was full on M3GAN and doing things, and now we get this like small Terminator looking thing, doing its thing now. So I feel like that kind of took away from it a little bit as well. The first time I watched this movie, like I said, I probably would have rated it an 8 or a 9 because I really loved this movie the first time I watched it, and even the first time that I did a rewatch, I really loved it. Now, having seen it a couple more times, it's dropped. I still like this movie. I still think it's good. I think it's enjoyable, but it's not that 8, 9, 10 enjoyable like I used to think. It's definitely fallen for me. I still enjoy it. First half's a little slow, but then things do pick up, and I just really like the M3GAN character. I think there's a potential here, and we'll get into what happens somewhere down the road in M3GAN 2.0 to see if they took advantage of that potential. But, I think I'd go 7. 7 out of 10 for M3GAN. And don't enjoy it as much as I did in the beginning, but I do still like the movie. Now I want to know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Are you a fan of M3GAN? We're not talking about M3GAN 2.0. I know a lot of people trash that one, and somewhere down the road I'll cover it. But what are your thoughts on this first film of M3GAN? Do you like it? You dislike it? Do you have the same thoughts about the characters as I do? But you like the M3GAN character, or do you just feel completely different? I want to know what you think, and I love the interaction with the horror community. So hit the like button for me today. Leave me some comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I've got another live coming up next week with Sarah and Kelly from the Final Girls. They have been kind enough to go through the entire Jeepers Creepers franchise with me. They're going to be back next week for a live where we just kind of rate the whole franchise and talk about it in general. Got some other fun stuff coming next week as well, so subscribe so you don't miss anything. Follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on everything out there. Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, X, TikTok, Letterboxd. Just search Sean's Horror Corner. You'll be able to find it there. So yeah, do all the things. Subscribe, like, comment, hype, share, follow, do all those things. I appreciate it all so much. I will see you soon.